Students, under group 17 elements, we have first compound that is chlorine. Okay, na? So, chlorine, coming to the preparation. Firstly, we are going to heat manganese dioxide in presence of concentrated HCl. Okay, na? So, manganese dioxide, that is MnO2, in presence of concentrated HCl, we are going to get chlorine gas. Okay, now we are going to heat so that it will form manganese chloride, then chlorine gas liberated, and water is eliminated as a byproduct. Okay, now so by treating, I mean to say heating of manganese dioxide with concentrated hydrogen chloride, we are going to get chlorine. Second method, that is heating of MnO2 with NaCl and concentrated H2SO4. Okay, na? So MnO2 with respect to NaCl and concentrated H2SO4, we are going to heat so that we are going to get manganese chloride, sodium bisulfate, then chlorine gas, then water molecule as a byproduct. Okay, na? So by heating manganese dioxide with NaCl and H2SO4, we are going to get chlorine. Then one more preparation, that is KMnO4. So potassium permanganate reacts with hydrogen chloride. It will give rise to potassium chloride, manganese chloride, then water and chlorine gas. Okay, na? So by treating with potassium permanganate and HCl, we are going to get KCl, manganese chloride, water and chlorine as a product. Okay, na? So by this we have three different preparations with respect to manganese dioxide and KMnO4. Okay, na? So coming to the one more, that is manufacture process. So very important, manufacture of chlorine by Deccan's process. Okay, na? By Deccan's process. So very important, for 2 marks they will ask this question, that is how chlorine is manufactured by Deccan's process. Okay, na? So chlorine is prepared by the oxidation of HCl gas using oxygen in presence of copper chloride. Okay, na? CuCl2 as a catalyst under 723 Kelvin. Okay, na? So we are going to treat hydrogen chloride with oxygen, that is nothing but what, oxidation process in presence of a catalyst, that is CuCl2, and the temperature is about 723 Kelvin. We are going to get chlorine and water. Okay, na? So this process is called as Deccan's process. So we are going to do oxidation of hydrogen chloride in presence of oxygen and CuCl2 under 723 Kelvin, we are going to get chlorine. One more manufacturing process, that is by electrolytic process. Electrolytic process. So under the influence of electric field, we are going to get chlorine also. Okay, na? So this particularly we are going to do electrolysis of brine solution. What do you mean by brine solution? So brine is nothing but NaCl. Okay, na? NaCl, aqueous NaCl na ನಾವು brine solution ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So here particularly we are going to do electrolysis process. As you already know, here the electrolyte is sodium chloride. Okay, na brine anta ಏನು ನಾವು consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, that is nothing but electrolyte, and we have two electrodes, cathode and anode. So particularly at the anode, chlorine gas is liberated. Okay, na? At anode, chlorine gas is liberated. Clear? Similarly at cathode, sodium. So by electrolytic process of brine solution, we are going to get chlorine gas at the anode. Okay, na? So this is how we are going to prepare chlorine. Next we have physical properties. So physical properties, particularly chlorine, it is a greenish yellow gas with a pungent and suffocating odor. Okay na? So greenish yellow gas irutte and with a pungent and suffocating odor, and it is about 2 to times heavier than air. Okay na? Then it can be easily liquefied into greenish yellow liquid. Okay na? So gas ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ liquefy ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, which boils at 239 Kelvin, and it is soluble in water. And if chlorine gas is soluble in water, the combination of chlorine in water we are called it as chlorine water. Okay na? In laboratory reagents we can use, in laboratory we are going to use chlorine water. Okay na? So this is about the physical properties. Next, coming to chemical properties. So firstly, reaction with metals. Reaction with metals. How chlorine reacts with metal. So particularly chlorine reacts with number of metals to form respective metal chlorides. Okay na? Metal chlorides form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That is aluminium 3Cl2 give rise to aluminium chloride, AlCl3. Similarly, sodium reacts with chlorine to form sodium chloride. Then iron reacts with chlorine to form FeCl3. Okay na? So like this, several metals reacts with chlorine to form respective metal chlorides. Nextly, with respect to non-metals, how this chlorine reacts with non-metals. So it will form non-metal chlorides, that is sulfur S8 combines with Cl2 to give S2Cl2. Okay na? So sulfur chloride. Then phosphorus combines with chlorine to form phosphorus trichloride. Okay na? So students, very important these reactions are. So particularly nimige in your PU board exam you have one question, complete the following anta heli. So alli nimige 3 reactions na kodtare. So reactions na kottu particularly reactants they will give, you have to mention the product. Okay na? So very important, completely ನಿಮಗೆ ಪಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ 15 ಟು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ 18 ಏನಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೂ ನಿಮಗೆ 3 ಇಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸು. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್. Next, reactivity towards hydrogen and hydrogen compounds. So reactivity towards hydrogen compounds. Okay na? So particularly hydrogen combines with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Okay na? So hydrogen chloride form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Similarly H2S combines with Cl2, it give rise to HCl and sulfur. So sulfur is eliminated. Then hydrocarbons such as C10H16 combines with chlorine to form HCl and carbon. So carbon ನಮಗೆ eliminate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Clear? So chlorine reacts with hydrogen and hydrogen compounds containing hydrogen to form HCl. Basis particularly we have HCl formation. Okay na? So chlorine hydrogen ಅಥವಾ hydrogen compounds ಜೊತೆ react ಆದರೆ we are going to get a main product, that is HCl. Nextly, we have reaction with ammonia. So how it reacts with ammonia? So ammonia, particularly excess ammonia combines with chlorine to form ammonium chloride and nitrogen gas. Okay na? Ammonium chloride and nitrogen gas is eliminated. So chlorine reacts with excess of ammonia to give ammonium chloride and nitrogen gas is eliminated. Similarly, ammonia reacts with excess chlorine. So excess chlorine ಜೊತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ it will give rise to nitrogen trichloride and HCl. ಓಕೆನಾ, nitrogen trichloride, it is explosive. So ammonia reacts with excess ammonia reacts with chlorine to form ammonium chloride and nitrogen. So ammonia reacts with excess chlorine, it will give rise to an explosive, that is nitrogen tetrachloride, or sorry, nitrogen trichloride and HCl. Nextly, we have reaction with sodium hydroxide. Reaction with NaOH. How this reacts with chlorine reacts with NaOH, that is NaOH under condition, that is cold and dilute condition. Okay na? So cold and dilute NaOH reacts with chlorine to form NaCl and NaOCl and H2O. ಓಕೆನಾ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೋಡಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಕಂಬೈನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ chlorine, particularly cold and dilute sodium hydroxide combines with chlorine to form sodium chloride, sodium hypochlorite. This is sodium hypochlorite and water. So similarly, NaOH, that is hot and concentrated NaOH. Okay na, hot and concentrated NaOH combines with chlorine to form NaCl, then NaClO3 and water. Okay na, so this is sodium chlorate. So cold and dilute sodium hydroxide combines with chlorine to form sodium chloride and sodium hypochlorite. Okay na? Whereas hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide combines with chlorine to form sodium chloride and sodium chlorate. Then one more reaction, that is formation of bleaching powder. As you already know what is bleaching powder. So how it is formed? Actually bleaching powder, it is a chlorinated compound. Okay na? So particularly here the slake lime, that is calcium hydroxide. Okay na? So lime ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ನ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ we are going to get calcium hypochlorite, that is and calcium chloride and water. Okay na? So the combination of this we are going to call it as bleaching powder. Okay na? So lime, stake lime, particularly slake lime, that is going to treated with chlorine, it will form bleaching powder. Okay na? The composition of this bleaching powder, particularly, that is along with this some amount of calcium hydroxide also present. Okay na? So actual reaction is to some amount of lime is present along with this product, that we call it as bleaching powder. So composition of bleaching powder is CaOCl2, CaCl2, CaOH twice and water. Nextly, reactivity towards hydrocarbons. Reaction towards hydrocarbons. So methane reacts with chlorine in presence of UV radiation, it will form methyl chloride plus HCl. Okay na? Similarly, ethane combines with chlorine, it will form 1,2 dichloroethane, that is C2H4Cl2. Okay na? So this chlorine reacts with hydrocarbon to give respective chlorides, that is methyl chloride and 1,2 dichloromethane. So coming to next reaction, that is bleaching property. So bleaching property, particularly this chlorine acts as a powerful bleaching agent, that is due to presence of nascent oxygen. Okay na? So due to presence of nascent oxygen, it acts as a good oxidizing and bleaching agent. So particularly firstly we have oxidizing action of chlorine, that is it easily, chlorine oxidizes ferrous sulfate to ferric sulfate, that is FeSO4 combines with H2SO4 in presence of chlorine, it will give rise to a Fe2SO4 thrice and HCl. So ferrous sulfate ಇರೋದು ferric sulfate ಆಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Then here sodium sulfite to sodium sulfate. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ sodium sulfide SULPHITE, sodium sulfite to sulfate. Then sulfur dioxide to sulfuric acid. Then iodine to iodic acid. So chlorine, it acts as a good oxidizing agent. It easily oxidizes ferrous sulfate to ferric sulfate. Then sodium sulfide to sodium sulfate, sulfur dioxide to sulfuric acid, iodine to iodic acid. Okay na? So how it liberates nascent oxygen anta bandre, that is chlorine reacts with water to form HCl and nascent oxygen. So this we call it as nascent oxygen. This is responsible for the bleaching action and oxidizing action of chlorine. Okay na? So chlorine water jothe combine adaga namige enagutte, it will give rise to a nascent oxygen. So this is responsible for the oxidizing action and bleaching action of chlorine. So here particularly the colored substance reacts with nascent oxygen, it gives colorless substance. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಕಲರ್ಡ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ನೇಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಕಲರ್ಲೆಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸಸ್. Particularly chlorine is used as a bleaching wood pulp, then bleaching of cotton and textiles, then it is used in the extraction of gold and platinum. It is used in the manufacturing of dyes, drugs and organic compounds. Then it is used in sterilizing drinking water. Then it is used in the preparation of some poisonous gases like phosgene, tear gas, mustard gas. Okay na? So we have plenty of application regarding chlorine. So this is about the chlorine. So we learnt about the preparation and very important manufacturing process by Decaun's process. Then we have physical properties and chemical properties. Finally, particularly it acts as a good oxidizing agent and bleaching agent, that is due to presence of nascent oxygen. Then at last uses. Okay na? So the next compound I will take in the next class.